So Anthony over at the Metal Miners YouTube channel is having a 1K subs contest, which means those of us in the YouTube metal community will be answering questions involving our music collections. In my case, my metal vinyl collection. So stick around and find out some stuff. So Anthony's channel has hit the 1,000 subscriber mark, which is fantastic. Congratulations to you, sir. Both he and his son Cody have been at this for a little over 3 years now, doing a lot of collection updates and thread responses, all of which very metal. So now he's got this contest going, I thought I'd jump in and show some support, but also talk about some metal records, past, present, and future. So let's get straight to that. First up is show or tell your favorite album or albums. So let's do a few here. Start with the fourth studio album from American thrash metal band Dark Angel. This is Time Does Not Heal, released in 1991 by Combat Records. This, of course, is a 2020 reissue from Century Media, which you can tell immediately for the not great reproduction of the cover art as the original. In case you need the original, there it is. Colors are way better on this. I don't even understand why they went this route. This is the better one. You should know that, Century Media. Anyways, great album. It is my favorite Dark Angel album. I know a lot of people go for Darkness Descends or Leave Scars. Great albums, but I love this album a lot. I feel like this is where they reached a real peak. Of course, right after this, they broke up for quite a long time. They have gotten back together in recent years. Hopefully there'll be a studio album with that lineup. It'd be very cool. By the way, rest in peace, Jim Durkin. Great album. Act of Contrition is probably my favorite song on here. You should probably check that one out first for sure. This version also has lyrics and write-up of the band in the gatefold. But yeah, great album. I should also mention the third studio album from Canadian speed metal band Exciter. This is Long Live the Loud, released in 1985 by Combat Records. This is my favorite Exciter album, though I do have quite a bit of love for Heavy Metal Maniac, their first album. In fact, you might know from a previous video, I did see Exciter live on the 40th anniversary of that first album. I got my copy of Heavy Metal Maniac signed by Dan and Alan, which was very, very cool. I think Exciter is working on some new material. I did read an interview with Daniel Decay, their guitar player, and I think he did mention that, but they have to get through their touring cycle first and all of that. So hopefully that happens, because this is a really cool band. Exciter, Long Live the Loud, great album. And why not show the third studio album from American power metal band Manowar? This is Hail to England, released in 1984 by Music for Nations. I believe Roadrunner also distributed it in Europe. I'm not really sure. I think that sounds right. Anyways, one of my favorite Manowar albums. I do love Into Glory Ride probably a little bit more, but I tend to waffle between these two quite a bit. I do love everything up until Triumph of Steel from the early 90s, and then Manowar really loses me at that time. But those other albums are really classic. This one in particular, I mean, it's Kill with Power. The title track is decent. Blood of My Enemies, great song. Each Dawn I Die is probably one of my very favorites. Bridge of Death, great album ender. I love the talk part, and it's ridiculous and fun and great at the same time. So yeah, so Manowar, Hail to England. Also, I should mention that in case you hadn't seen it, I was on a somewhat recent live stream on my pal Jeff's Gas Masks and Hand Grenades YouTube channel, discussing the subject of essential trad metal albums. I will provide a link to that in the description of this video in case you're interested in other favorite album choices of mine. Next up is show or tell your favorite band or bands. So I'm going to limit this to metal bands. I'm going to pick a couple. I could talk about my favorite band, Kiss, but I've done that a lot on this channel. However, I often don't discuss favorite metal bands, so let's get into that. This is actually pretty good timing because not long ago, someone asked me to name my favorite metal band, and I gotta say I was stumped for a while. I mean, there are so many great metal bands in the genre that picking even a few is rather tough. But if I'm being honest with myself, I can safely say that the answer is Judas Priest. This is the white label promo copy of their seventh studio album, British Steel, released in 1980 by Columbia Records, or CBS Records if you're in Europe. In case you've never seen a white label promo, you might be used to the Columbia labels of this time being red. This one is white, also says for promotional use only. Chiefly, these were made for radio stations. They're often first pressed as well, purportedly to sound better. But yeah, very, very cool. I also have Hellbent for Leather white label promo as well. Yeah, it's there. This also is a gold stamp promo. You can see in the corner right there. Great album. Of course, everyone knows Breaking the Law and Living After Midnight, but deeper cuts are pretty awesome. I love Metal Gods. I love Rapid Fire quite a bit. I even like United. It's not a bad song. Anyways, there you go. British Steel, Judas Priest. I'm also quite a big fan of Overkill and have been since the beginning. Not sure if I've shown this before, but here is their self-titled debut EP from 1985, released by Metal Storm Records. There are a number of stories about this EP. One is that the band doesn't get any money from it, which kind of sucks. I don't know if that's true or not. You can tell me in the comments if you know either way. Azra Records put this out as well, or they helped distribute it. I can't remember which. They basically sold this off to them because they needed the money. This recording, which basically was originally a demo from November of 1984. But some cool stuff on here. Rotten to the Core, an earlier version, as well as Fatal to Swallowed, another early version of a track, and Overkill. It also has The Answer, which I don't believe was on any other album, unless it was a bonus track on something, but yep. And it is the classic lineup with Bobby and Dee Dee and Rat and good old Bobby, the other Bobby, basically. So yeah, Overkill, self-titled EP. It's pretty cool. 4,000 released in the world, I believe. Next up is show or tell your favorite cover art / artist or artists. So this too reminds me that I did a video on favorite cover art, which you can also watch at my channel, and likewise linked in the description of this video. I'll make sure to do that. Because I did that video, I'm picking something a bit different from those choices and not from the world of metal, but rather horror soundtracks. This is Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives, released in 2019 by Waxwork Records. So some might know I'm a fan of not only horror movies, but their soundtracks as well. In fact, I have the first 6 Friday the 13th scores in my collection, among those from other films. The artist here is Gary Pullen, or Ghoulish Gary Pullen, as he is also known. Gary's done a number of covers for Waxwork Records, including ones for Reanimator, Black Christmas, The Funhouse, They Live, Creepshow, and others. He's also done promotional art for Alice Cooper, Def Leppard, Goblin, a whole bunch of other folks. You can check him out at ghoulishgary.com. Just to show you some more art from this. A lot of Waxwork releases have incredible artwork. Just amazing stuff here. And there's even a gatefold. We get that iconic scene of Jason on top of the RV from that movie. Part 6 is one of my favorites. I do love the first one a lot. I love the fourth one, but number 6 is really up there for me as well. And this soundtrack is really great too. Next up is one suggestion for content on Anthony's channel. So I took a look through the Metal Miners videos, and the only content-specific idea I could come up with is maybe some more top 10s, in addition to the usual content, of course. I see one end-of-year top 10, but that was a couple years back, so yeah, maybe some more of those. Pick some themes, grab some records, go nuts. Next up is 2 bands you would like to see material from this year, such being 2024. So the first is definitely going to be British gothic metal band Paradise Lost, who haven't released a studio album since this one. This is Obsidian, back in 2020. I goddamn love this album. In fact, it did rank very high in my list for 2020. You can go watch that video of top metal albums for that year. Very cool. Darker Thoughts is a great song. Fall from Grace is probably one of my very favorites, as well as Ending Days. Raven Gas, great. There's a lot of good stuff on here. Paradise Lost has changed throughout the years. It kind of started as a Death Doom band and kind of morphed into more pop rock territory in their mid-career, and then kind of came almost full circle. These days, I think it's more gothic metal. Those who might remember, back in those earlier days, Paradise Lost was a little bit influenced by Typo Negative, which is kind of interesting, and that's why they did a little bit of a change in their career. There you go. Great album, though. Very cool. Also, I would definitely love to see a new album from British death metal band Benediction, who also haven't released a studio album since 2020 in the form of this bad boy called Scriptures. Great album. Favorites on this one, definitely Iterations of I, great song. I really love Stormcrow a lot. And what else is a really, really good one here? Progenitors of a New Paradigm. I believe Cam Lee is doing guest vocals on that one, if I'm not mistaken. Very cool. There's a track listing for you. I do have it on good authority that this band is working on another studio album as we speak, so that's pretty good news. But in the case of both bands, new material is definitely a long time coming. Of course, I'd also like new albums from Queensryche, Possessed, and Flotsam and Jetsam, but Anthony said only 2, so the 2 I want the most are, without a doubt, Paradise Lost and Benediction. Again, it's been too long. Next up is 3 of your favorite albums from last year, such being 2023. Well, how about 3 albums, all from bands whose names start with C? Just because it worked out that way for no reason at all. Let's start with the 10th studio album from American progressive death metal band Cattle Decapitation. This is Terracite, released by Metal Blade Records. Fantastic album. It ranked very high on my 2023 end of year video. One might say it was my '1 choice of the year. So it's definitely a favorite. Great tracks on this one. I really love, the first 2 songs. We Eat Our Young is really great. Scourge of the Offspring. The Scourge of the Offspring. I can pronounce things. Is probably my very, very favorite. Very cool. Full lyrics in the gatefold. I did see this tour, by the way, with Dark Funeral, 200 Stab Wounds, and Black Braid. Great show. I saw them at the Summit in Denver when I was visiting out there. Amazing show. I might have mentioned this last time when I talked about this record, but there was this total stranger standing next to me. We're both digging the band, and then when the show stopped, we both just stared at each other and went, wow. He's like, yeah. We both were just floored. Great band live. You definitely have to see them live. But don't listen to their albums too, obviously. Also from 2023 was the 2nd studio album from American death metal band Creeping Death. This is Boundless Domain, released by MNRK Heavy. Great label name, I guess. Fantastic band from the great state of Texas. Songs I love, Intestinal Rap. Vitrified Earth is pretty good, and Jesus, I don't know. They're all really great songs. Definitely check this band out. This is Creeping Death. They have a full length and an EP, I believe, before this that you should also check out. I've talked about them in previous episodes of Vinyl Haul. In fact, I talked about this and the last record as well. So if you need full reviews of those records, you can definitely go to those episodes of Vinyl Haul. Just do a search at my channel. Of course, I also have to mention the 2nd studio album from Brazilian death metal band Crypta. This is Shades of Sorrow, released by Napalm Records. Actually, I think Crypta is a little bit more of an international band now, but, Brazilian in origin. All-female death metal band, as you can see. Killer band. Love Crypta. Some songs I really love off this album. Stronghold's pretty great. What was one of my favorites here? Trial of Traitors is pretty amazing as well. Virtually every song. Lord of Ruins, pretty great as well. If you've never seen Crypta, you should definitely check them out online. I've seen a lot of shows from this band online. I've never seen them live, unfortunately, but I would really kill to see them in a concert setting because very good band, very brutal, very energetic, killer stuff. Crypta, Shades of Sorrow. So if you're interested in jumping in on this contest, you should do it very, very quickly as I'm posting this the day before the deadline, which is April 16th, 2024. If you can make it though, you should know that merely posting a comment instantly gets you 1 entry. Making a video gets you 2 entries. And if this is your very first video at your channel, you'll get 3 entries. So maybe do a video if you got time, but definitely get into the comments section of his initial video and get in the contest because it's going to be pretty cool. Anyways, again, congratulations to Anthony and Cody too for reaching the 1K milestone. Of course, I'd encourage all of you of the metal faith to check out his original thread video, as well as his channel. I'll put a link in the description of this video so you can do just that. Of course, if you're unfamiliar with my channel, my name is Matt. This is The Accusation Network, where each and every week I do videos on metal vinyl collecting, but also cover the subjects of classic and modern metal in general. If you've never subscribed to my channel before, I would appreciate it if you did, but maybe also give a like to this video and maybe share it with some of your friends on social media. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.